Hi, I'm Scott Volpenheim, Director of Marketing at ERP Suites. I'm here with Mark Zink, and we're going to talk about analytics today.
Thanks, Scott. Look forward to the conversation.
We often hear data as a strategy, or even data is the new oil. What does that mean?
I like that analogy, and I've heard that a few times, kind of thrown out there in the industry. And oil being one of I think, parallels what we're trying to do with all the years of data. So a couple key points that I think we can probably take away, or at least some ideas that we can take away, is data has been accumulating for years, not unlike oil, not underneath the earth, and it's been really accumulating value, energy, and capabilities. So, and it's taken a while to kind of build up that reserve, and to some extent, folks like myself in IT being able to access it. The other element of the oil analogy, as you kind of suggested, as you and I've been discussing here, is it's not inherently valuable in and of itself, by itself. It takes extraction, it takes refinement and further processing in order for oil to be useful. Same is true with data. We've been producing data for many, many years, and it's taken, for years, we've done a lot of extraction, but in order to truly make it a productive resource, that's really kind of been accumulating or actually certainly been building up as a stored value for us over the next decade or more, certainly much longer than that. Data is also essential. Companies are truly running their business, whether it's creating transactions on a day-to-day basis, but also it's kind of essential to the economy, or to the economics of that company, similar to oil. It's got its relevancy in terms of it's not only just a necessity, but it's also a given strategy for some companies in particular, particularly those in very competitive environments. So one thing I like to say, and I think it really is kind of, I think it really kind of hits the point, I think, fairly well, is it delivers energy for new outcomes, and more important, like new services and improved experiences, whether it's internal or whether it's external. So I see data as an impetus for innovation, and being able to not only take what we would traditionally introduce in ERP Suites land, ERP data, but to really mash that up, I think, as the terms have been thrown out there for a while, but to be able to manipulate and use that data more comprehensively outside of our traditional transacting systems. So I see that as the future and the opportunity for our organizations and for organizations outside of the ERP Suites group. So I see that as a real driver of innovation. Similar to oil, we're looking to gain higher and higher efficiencies. We're not driving our cars expecting to drive shorter distances. We want to gain more distance from an ounce of fuel or a record of data or an accumulated set of data or a record set. We're looking to get further and further and gain not only those efficiencies and those operational improvements, but also to kind of comply with standards. Regulatory frameworks are out there to suggest, and also to kind of move us further along in gaining more efficiencies, as our companies would as well. It's not about just simply storing data. It's now about opportunity to actually use it efficiently and use that as a motivation within our organization to essentially create additional value. And I think the last thing I kind of want to bring up, maybe another point really, is similar to oil. It needs an oil rig. It needs an infrastructure. It needs a platform. Yep. Simply drilling in your backyard or in a particular location at random doesn't work so well. Same is true for companies that's got data. Simply using your own analysis and using your own intuition and gut and guesswork, that doesn't always work. So when you really have marshaled your resources onto a platform and focused it specifically on a particular region or a particular subject matter or a particular, if you will, pocket of opportunity, there's where you're going to realize value. So I kind of equate it to the oil rig. Yeah. So I see what we're offering in this space is really an analytics and business intelligence platform rather than reporting or just a traditional means of,
Yep.
of collecting and disseminating data. So to answer your question, I know I gave you a long answer, Scott, but I see data as a strategic asset.
Yeah, there are a lot of parallels. It's quite amazing how similar they can be. And I think that's something I've been hearing for a long time is getting the data is one thing, but knowing what to do with it is the struggle, and trying to improve your business is certainly the point of getting that data.
And I think to add to that is we've often put data in the hands of IT folks, and in most organizations, in financial folks' hands. So what we've done is essentially given the responsibilities to the scorekeepers and to the technicians. And where we're going in the future, data isn't necessarily in the hands of isolated departments or particular business functions. Rather, instead, data is accessible from all resources, whether it's your supply chain teams, whether it's your operations teams, whether it's your sales and marketing teams. It isn't a job to request IT to perform this function anymore. It really is providing that wherewithal, that capability, the skill sets to be able to apply their given expertise and knowledge to be able then to identify insights and opportunities that an IT technician or a financial or an accountant individual will never realize and or understand or put in the appropriate context. So I see it also as sort of like freeing the data up, if you will,
Yeah.
and democratizing the data.